Welcome to today's Explainer. If you are a dog owner, you've probably felt that very familiar sense of overwhelming confusion standing in the pet food aisle. You want the absolute best for your best friend, even if, let's be honest, they'd happily eat an old shoe or a questionable patch of grass in the backyard. But trying to navigate all the different brands, claims, and nutritional jargon can feel like trying to read a foreign language. Well, today we are decoding the kibble. We're going to separate the marketing hype from the cold hard facts and empower you with the knowledge you actually need to make the healthiest decisions for your pet.
Let's start with part 1, the pet food illusion.
Picture yourself standing in that pet food aisle. You've got dozens of incredibly colorful bags stacked to the ceiling, end to end, aggressively vying for your attention and, of course, your wallet. It naturally brings us to a fundamental question. Is your dog's food actually healthy? As owners, we are deeply invested in our dog's well-being. We want them to thrive, not just survive. And the packaging on these products certainly makes us feel like we're providing the gold standard of nutrition.
I mean, almost every package out there promises shiny coats, stronger muscles, and better digestion. They boast about premium ingredients. They cover the front of the bag in these powerful buzzwords calling themselves natural, holistic, high protein, or complete nutrition. They sound incredible, don't they? We tend to think that if a product is sitting proudly on the shelf of a major, reputable pet store, it must be the perfect choice. But there is a massive disconnect between shelf appeal and nutritional reality.
And here is the reason for that disconnect. The dog food industry is a multi-billion-dollar business. And just like any other massive, highly competitive industry, the marketing speaks much louder than the actual ingredient list hidden in tiny print on the back of the bag. Far too often, consumers end up spending a premium, truly believing they're buying the highest quality food, without ever realizing what is actually inside. In some cases, ingredients are included just because they're cheap, easy to process, or literally just help the bag sit on a shelf for months on end.
Which brings us to part 2, why labels actually matter.
We have to read past the marketing for one very simple reason, because your dog can't read it. I know it sounds obvious, but they rely entirely on you. When it's dinner time, they eat whatever you put in front of them. They trust you implicitly to make the right, healthy decision for them. You are their only advocate when it comes to what goes into their body, which is exactly why it is so crucial that we learn how to decipher these labels ourselves. If you have ever dealt with a dog constantly suffering from itchy skin, digestive problems, excessive shedding, chronic ear infections, low energy, or unexplained weight gain, you know how incredibly frustrating it is. You take them to the vet, you buy those expensive specialty shampoos, but often the answer isn't their breed or just bad luck. Sometimes the root cause is sitting right there in their food bowl every single day.
All right, let's get into the specifics. Part 3. Avoid artificial food dyes.
Imagine pouring a fresh scoop of kibble into a bowl and seeing bright red, green, orange, or yellow pieces mixed in. To us, it looks colorful, it looks appetizing, maybe like a fresh mix of meats and vegetables. But ask yourself, who is that color actually for? Dogs experience the world through their noses, not their eyes. They absolutely do not choose their meals based on appearance the way humans do.
The uncomfortable truth is that those bright colors are there for one reason, to attract you. Artificial food dyes are added purely for shelf appeal, to catch the eye of the human consumer who is buying the bag. They are entirely cosmetic.
Yes, regulatory agencies permit certain color additives, but look at the reality here. They do not improve digestion. They don't build muscle. They do not strengthen joints. They provide absolutely zero functional nutritional benefit for your dog. They simply change how the food looks to the human eye, usually masking the true color of the highly processed ingredients.
I absolutely love this quote from our source material because it really shifts your perspective. Because if an ingredient serves no nutritional purpose, it's worth asking why it's there in the first place. That is exactly how we need to start thinking. When comparing foods, veterinary nutrition experts recommend prioritizing natural appearance and functional nutrition over unnecessary cosmetic dyes. Simple rule. If it doesn't help the dog, it doesn't need to be there.
Moving on to part 4. Avoid excessive generic meat byproducts.
Now, we need to clear up a very major, very common misunderstanding. You will constantly hear well-meaning people say, never buy food with byproducts. But wait a second. Organ meats, like liver and heart, are actually highly nutritious components for dogs. They are packed with essential vitamins and minerals. The issue isn't the byproduct itself. Not all byproducts are inherently bad. The real problem arises when the labeling becomes dangerously vague. This brilliantly illustrates the issue. Vague labeling gives you meat byproducts. Okay, what animal is that from? Is it chicken? Beef? A mix? We simply don't know, which gives us very little information about the quality. Transparent labeling, however, gives you chicken liver or turkey heart. Those ingredients are specific. They are clear. They tell you exactly what your dog is consuming. And that brings us to a vital takeaway for any dog owner. Transparency reflects higher manufacturing standards. Clear labeling gives owners confidence, while vague labeling raises major red flags. Veterinary nutritionists stress that when you know exactly what is inside, when the protein sources are specifically identified, making an informed, healthy decision becomes so much easier. You aren't left guessing.
And finally, Part 5. Avoid sneaky added sugars.
Now for an ingredient that completely surprises many people. The simple fact is, dogs don't need candy. They don't need sweet cereal. While dogs can biologically digest certain carbohydrates, adding sweeteners like corn syrup to lower quality treats just to make them taste better adds absolutely zero meaningful nutritional value. It is often used as a cheap trick to increase palatability in highly processed foods.
The problem isn't a tiny trace amount once in a blue moon. The real concern is when sugar becomes a regular daily part of their diet, causing a compounding physical toll. Added sugars mean an increased empty calorie intake. That inevitably leads to obesity, especially if your dog has average to low activity levels, which drastically increases the physical strain on their joints, making exercise even harder and way more painful. Ultimately, this vicious cycle elevates the risk of severe long-term health problems.
So the crucial point is this. Your dog's body needs nourishment, not dessert. The experts are unified in recommending that you look for foods that prioritize high-quality protein and balanced functional nutrition, rather than relying on empty, flavor-enhancing sweeteners that shorten lifespans. We have covered a lot of vital ground in this explainer today, peeling back the flashy million-dollar marketing to look at the reality of the ingredients. By looking out for artificial dyes, vague byproducts, and sneaky sugars, you are taking a massive step in protecting your best friend's health. So I want to end on this final, incredibly important question: what is sitting in your dog's food bowl today? I highly encourage you, right after this, to go grab your dog's food bag, flip it around to the ingredient list, and take a close look for yourself. You now have the tools to decode the kibble.